DP movements are triggered by passive and raising verbs. DP movements are triggered by the passive and raising verbs. DP movements are also termed as A movement. DP movements are A movement. Now, trace is an invisible mark left behind when elements move. That's trace. Trace is an invisible mark left behind when elements move. Passive verb fails to assign structural case to the complement noun phrase. Passive verb fails to assign structural case to the complement noun phrase. So, the subject position is left empty. Hence, the object moves to the subject position. So, fails to assign structural case to the complement noun phrase. The subject position is left empty. The object moves to the subject position. The passive verbs absorb the theta role assigned to the external argument. So the passive verbs cannot assign case because they absorb the theta role that is assigned to the external argument. They don't take an external argument, so the subject position is left empty. The deep structure of the passive verbs looks like dash verb noun phrase. Now, Bourdieu's first generalization was that verb which lacks an external argument fails to assign accusative case. So, any verb which lacks an external argument fails to assign accusative case. Now, the subjacency condition out of context. Subjacency condition is involved in the bounding theory. The Bourdieu's first generalization is that verb which lacks an external argument fails to assign the accusative case. And Bourdieu's second generalization is that verb which fails to assign accusative case also fails to theta mark the external argument. So that's the Bourdieu's second generalization. Now, Bourdieu's first generalization is that verb which lacks an external argument also fails to assign accusative case. The Bourdieu's second generalization is that verb which fails to assign accusative case fails to theta mark the external argument. Right? First generalization, that which lacks an external argument fails to assign accusative case, so it's like a cycle. And second is that which fails to assign accusative case fails to theta mark the external argument. So there's no external argument in the first place, and they absorb the theta role that is assigned to the external argument. They fail to assign the structural case to the complement noun phrase, and so the subject position is left empty. Now, A bar movement refers to the movement of maximal projections into A bar position. Movement of the maximal projections into the A bar position is A bar movement. Now, A bar position is also termed as non-argument position. So A bar position is also termed as non-argument position. Now, the examples of A bar movement are WH movement and scrambling. So A bar position is termed as non-argument position. Now, I greater than C, I, that is inflection, greater than complementizer. So there's a kind of movement happening from the complementizer position to the inflection. No, not inflection. It's what is it? Yeah, inflection. Right? What's the head of a sentence? the head of a sentence is I, right? Maybe that's inflection. That most probably is inflection, because what else could it be? So I greater than V, that is verb to the I. Now movement of heads of phrases, these three kind of movements, they come under head movement. Alright. Now WH islands are embedded complementizer phrases. So what are WH islands? These are complementizer phrases, and these are indeed embedded. So WH islands are embedded complementizer phrases. Then we have Grammar of English Nominalization, the work of Robert Lees in 1970. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's the most closest guess. So, Grammar of English Nominalizations proposed the reduction of the nominalizations to verbs. The category reduction work in the Grammar of English Nominalizations reduced the nominalizations to nouns and verbs. This work was done by the category reduction work. The central tenet of generative semantics was category reduction work. The central tenet of generative semantics was category reduction work done in the Grammar of English Nominalizations, which reduced nominalizations to nouns and verbs, and the central tenet of generative semantics was category reduction work. Then, according to the lexicalist hypothesis by Noam Chomsky in 1970, words like refusal are not derived transformationally, but present in the lexicon already. So the lexicalist hypothesis, words like refusal, they are not derived transformationally, but are already present in the lexicon. Now the lexicalist hypothesis shattered the basement on which generative semantics was built. So lexicalist hypothesis shattered the basement on which generative semantics was built.